Okay, guys, we are here for the first ever. We've been waiting for this all year. When we first talked about doing this show, it kind of revolved around this idea that we're going to get to do Football Fridays. So every Friday, we're going to drop a new video about the upcoming weekend's games, be it college football, National Football League, maybe even we talk about high school, local high school teams, things like that. But it's all about football. And of course, now we're looking at the upcoming fantasy football season. So today is going to be kind of big on that because we have a lot of guys out there getting their drafts going and all of that. So we are going to kind of go into it. So we've got a few minutes here that we're just going to just nerd out on some football.
Football, that's what we've been waiting for. It's the best time of year. Playoff baseball and football. Can't wait.
So, we've got a few topics. So, on our whiteboard in front of us. And so we'll kind of run through each of these topics and see if we can blow them up. But you know what guys are always looking for is a little edge, and we're going to give it to you today. So you guys can bank on it, you guys watching. We're going to give you sleepers. We're going to give you
overrated people to try to avoid.
Yeah, we got those. In fact, I that's going to be fun because that's an easy one for me, and I can't wait to say it out loud.
You could. I mean, a lot of people, if you're listening to this, you might just want to go opposite of us, and you could be successful in your fantasy
sometimes you might
football
have some
league.
luck. I did finish last in our fantasy football league last year, so expect to hear a little wagers that we put on it because we all do here at the field house. And with the Sideline, we have a group of people that do the fantasy. We got a dynasty fantasy football league, so there's some fun stuff there. So, like Scott said, you might want to fade some of us.
Yeah, for sure.
I say we get right into fantasy right now.
Okay, let's
start
do
with
it.
Fantasy. Okay, so we've been talking about off the show. We've been talking about how what we should be promoting, and we talked about, of course, we look through all of this like everybody does, and we come up with guys that we think are going to do well based on what they've done in the past. There's always a guy or guys out there that you think, wait a minute, they were really good last year, and why are they ranked at number 12 or number 14 or number 16 when we feel like they should be top 5? So we've categorized that as your sleepers or guys that are kind of off the radar that we think you should pick. So Scotty, I'm going to lead it off with you. You give us and let's do it by position.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you the position, and you're going to tell me who that guy is, okay?
Okay.
And we'll bounce around, and we'll kind of run through it, and then we'll go to the next position.
Let's do it.
Okay, so give me your quarterback. Who is the quarterback out there that you think is going to be he's going to be strong this year, even though he may not look that strong on paper right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's probably of the positions, that's the hardest one for me to say. This is such a gimme pick, but I think that the number one quarterback this year in fantasy football, I think he's ranked number 4, but I'm just going to say I think he's easily going to be number 1 is Joe Burrow. They don't have much defense. They're going to be throwing. They got a great receiver. I think he's in line to have a monumental year this year.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah,
Zack?
he's going to sling it. Like you said, their defense isn't great. I think they finally locked up Henderson, or they're close to locking up Henderson to get that, which is good on the defensive end. But even with him last year, they were giving up 35, 40 points. So Joe Burrow had to score 45, 50 to win. And he's pretty good at it. And the relationship he has with Jamar Chase, I think he goes along with it. Jamar Chase has easily been the number 1 guy in the draft, and it's because of Joe Burrow. So I'm with you. He doesn't run it like some of those other guys, but he's a guy that goes. But I'm going to have to go with my pick. I think is kind of off the radar and a bit of a sleeper is Drake May. They got a new head coach, and they brought in a familiar offensive coordinator who's done really well. I mean, they got Mike Vrabel, and they've got Josh McDaniels back. They finally put some weapons there. They got the running back Henderson out of Ohio State that wasn't overused. He's not like a Genty that came in and was a workhorse, kind of split some reps. And then you throw Stephon Diggs in there, you finally got a number 1 wide receiver. I don't think they've really had one of those since Moss.
Right.
True definitive number 1 since him. So there's some weapons. You got Hunter Henry with some experience. I think Drake May is my guy at quarterback to have. He's off the radar right now, and he's going to have a big year. I think he'll be a top 10 quarterback.
All right.
I like Joe Burrow a lot. I don't like Drake May, so I think you missed there.
I'm surprised you didn't call me a homer as a Patriots fan.
Especially when you come up with on true number 1, Stephon Diggs. He's about 85 years old.
All right, Marcus, you don't believe Stephon Diggs is a true number 1. Who's your sleeper quarterback pick?
Well, Stephon Diggs, I mean, if you think he's the number 1 at his age, then I think Drake May's in trouble because, especially given his injuries and what he's had past. So I'm just not a fan of the Patriots this year in general. But I'll go with Drake May. He's okay.
Could you name their number one receiver before they got a guy named Stephon
No, but
Diggs?
you know what? It's like having Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, do I think he's going to be strong this year? He's high up on the board, and I can't see that happening either. So, my number one pick for quarterbacks. This guy gets no respect year after year, and he's playing for almost the Super Bowl. It's Jared Goff. Last year, Jared Goff was number 6 in the league in fantasy points. In touchdowns. This guy just comes out year after year and he leads that team to almost the promised land, which I'm not a huge Lions fan, but you can't look at his weapons. With weapons like that, Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, he's got Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're gonna put it together. I have faith in Jared Goff.
I think that's a good pick.
Yep.
You're not wrong. Right, with all those weapons, you're not wrong. It's a good choice, but in my mind, he's not a sleeper because he's put up the numbers. I know he's ranked outside the top 10 or right at 10,
yep. Well,
but he's not.
That makes him a guy that.
Yeah, it makes a guy he's off the radar.
I
right?
say he's a top 5.
Yep, and you're calling him to be a top 5. So there, in that sense, he is the off the radar guy.
Heck, if you don't think his is a sleeper, I picked Joe Burrow.
That's true too. You guys went with 2 of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Well, I'll put it this way: his average draft position on CBS Sports for Joe Burrow, I'm coming back to that real quick, is 27. I predict him to be a top 5.
Okay.
Top 5
Scoring,
overall in fantasy.
Overall scoring in fantasy.
Fair enough.
How about that?
27, that's weird too, because that would be almost third round in a lot of leagues.
So I'm looking
that would
at
be
it right
late
here.
third round. Because most teams are 10-team leagues, unless you're Scotty playing with all the college buddies that got like 27 people in their league. Like, I don't know how they fill out their rosters.
Yeah, we go deep.
Let's go with running backs. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Okay, my sleeper running back, I'm going a little deeper here, is Brian Robinson this year for my beloved Commanders. It may be a homer pick, it may not. Across the board, the Commanders are expected to be a top 10 offense this year. And it's the only running back outside of Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs who is not a top 15 projected running back in fantasy this year. I think he's going to get more touches inside the 5-yard line because they're going to try to protect Jaden Daniels. So hopefully if he doesn't get hurt, I think it's a good pick. He's slotted to be picked in the 7th or 8th round. So if you can get him in the 5th or 6th, I think there's value there.
What about Eckler? They still have Eckler, right?
And Eckler will play some and he'll get his touches, but I still think that Brian Robinson, for where he is slotted, I think that he'll be a decent pick.
You think he'll put up points? Watching him last year, they obviously being local here, we get their games a lot, and just watching him run last year, it didn't seem like he could find a hole. I'm hoping, because I know you guys are both Commanders fans and want to see them do well and repeat from last year. My difficulty is he didn't break away much. So hopefully he's going to rely on a lot of goal line touches to get those touchdowns, to get the points up. But I'm not banking on it there, Scotty.
Yeah, we'll see.
What's your
I didn't have a running back on my list. I've talked a little bit to Scotty. You'll say this is a homer pick too. Ohio State guy, didn't get used a lot. Travion Henderson with the Patriots. I think that's going to be a huge help, and part of the reason I picked Drake May. You get a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can find some gaps. He's got breakaway speed. It's part of the reason I think they're going to be a sleeper team in the AFC as well. So Travion Henderson is my guy.
I like him. Yeah, that's not a bad pick. It's not great. It's not bad.
You don't like any of mine, but again, I finished last in our fantasy league last year. So if you get a chance, fade my picks.
I'll be excited to see who your sleeper wide receiver from the Patriots is.
It's not Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, all right.
Mine is this guy again, and I love this guy. I love him even more this year. Running back Chase Brown. Last year when he came in, when what's his name? I've just forgotten who got injured that gave him the opportunity to play, and he just tore it up starting week 4. The thing about Chase Brown that I liked was he rushed for 4 touchdowns and he received for 7. One of the top in the league because he's out of the backfield. He's catching the ball. I love that. That's my guy. Who did he replace last year? I just skipped the name.
Oh, gosh, I'm forgetting too. When you said it, I forget who he replaced.
Because there was somebody who got hurt early.
No, because Mixon was gone. That's the only guy I think of that was the running back in Cincinnati before that. He was with the Texans last year, so I'm Blake.
It was Zach Moss.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
there it
Zach
is.
Moss, the Oracle over here.
I don't even know
where
where Zach Moss is these days, but he was the guy that got hurt, remember, had a neck injury in week 4.
Right.
And then, so that's mine. Okay, you ready to go receivers now?
I am. I'm ready to go receivers. My sleeper receiver pick this year is Marvin Harrison with the Cardinals. I think he's pretty much projected to be drafted in the 3rd round in most drafts. Last year, he was an easy first-round draft pick in most drafts, and he certainly underperformed. And I don't know if it was his fault or Kyler Murray's fault, but they both need him to perform this year for their jobs to be locked in. Because Kyler Murray, let's face it, he needs Marvin Harrison. If he doesn't do well this year, he might be looking for another job. I expect Marvin Harrison to get many more targets than last year. He's a great receiver, and he's going to capitalize on those targets. I would take him higher than he's expected to go.
I like that pick. That guy's sure-handed as all get out, man. He catches a lot of balls that are thrown his way. And like you said, Kyler Murray better find him the ball, or I think Kyler Murray's the guy that's out of a job. Because,
damn right.
Right? He was a top 10 pick, first-round pick for sure, and he hasn't performed the way they expected. They haven't seen the results. They've given him weapons. He's got a great running back in James Conner. And you got Marvin Harrison, you drafted 4th overall. You should be performing a lot better. So I'm with you there. I think that's a good pick. I'm going with a guy, not a Patriots guy. I'm going with Jameson Williams. He was a 1,000-yard receiver last year and did it in under 100 touches. He's got breakaway speed. The dude is fast as all get out. And I think he averaged 17 yards after the catch last year. Which is amazing. So that guy, like I said, you got Jared Goff as your guy. He's going to force feed him. I think teams will start to double down on St. Brown. And with the run game in Detroit, I think it'll open up for Jameson Williams. So he's my guy.
Do you think he'll outperform Amon?
I do this year. I think he outperforms Amon St. Brown.
Okay.
I had Jameson Williams too. And I'm going to pull a fast one on you because everything you said is right. And then I go back and say it's because Jared Goff's going to throw him. He's going to get 10 to 12 touchdowns this year is my guess. But I want to back up and give you another running back that I meant to say earlier that this guy I've been kind of watching, and I watched the whole game the other day, is Chuba Hubbard. I mean, it's funny that I would even say this, that the Panthers actually look like they've come a long way.
Are you basing that on the preseason game?
I'm basing it on a lot of things. I mean, they picked up Rico Dowdle from
Uh-huh.
Cowboys.
Yep.
Which, I mean, he seems to be complimentary, but Chuba's bigger and Chuba's healthy. And, I just feel like this could be, if you can put some pieces in there, that guy McMillan is that rookie at Arizona State. He's money.
I think my concern is Chuba Hubbard had a really good year last year, and they brought Rico in, who ran for over 1,000. I think Rico's going to sneak in and snake the job from him. And then they added some weapons. Like Bryce Young I think he's going to sling it a little more this year. They added Tate McMillan. They've got the Leggett kid. Adam Thielen had a great year last year. You talk about 38 years old. I mean, the guy's older. He might be older than you, Mark, and he's still got it going. But
he is older.
I think they're going to throw the ball a little more. So I'm not sure. I really like that Chuba Hubbard pick.
Yeah, that's just my real long shot. Okay, you ready to go tight ends? Scotty?
I'm ready to go tight ends. My knowledge of tight ends, first of all, I want to say the best tight end in the country is easily my boy Brock Bowers.
You were raving about him.
I was waiting to say
Tell me a little statistic.
Yeah, my statistic is I was looking at the average draft positions on CBS Sportsline, basically through like the first 6 or 7 rounds. And the biggest gap by position of any player anywhere is Brock Bowers compared to the number 2 rated tight end. He's slotted on average draft position 10 spots higher. So I think there's a lot of value in Bowers if you get him early, but that's not my sleeper pick because he is not a sleeper pick.
Yeah, no, not at all. Who's your sleeper pick?
I'm going to come back home for this one. I'm going to say Zach Ertz, especially if McLaurin doesn't start playing at the beginning of the year here. I think that he's going to see more touches. He's going to be certainly a help to Jaden Daniels this year when he's in trouble. He likes to go to Ertz. So I would look for him to be a guy who gets a lot of touches this year, and he'll probably get say between 5 and 8 touchdowns this year.
Fair enough. I do like that pick there. He really did well down the stretch for them and helped them win some ball games. I'm going with an off the wall guy a little bit. I mean, his name pops up quite a bit. It's a big dude, but he plays for an awful team. I'm going David Njoku in Cleveland. Hopefully they've got somebody that can throw him the football. But if it's Joe Flacco in Cleveland, he's going to rely on his tight end. And Njoku can get open. And in the red zone, that guy is massive. So my sleeper pick for tight ends is if you can get him late, he's going to bring some big value. Is David Njoku.
Yeah, both of those are good. I've got a couple of guys that I'm thinking that if you're looking for a tight end and for value, real value, my pick is Isaiah Likely because he's got. I mean, there's no debating. Lamar is
he still with the Ravens? That's the question. Yeah,
and if you look at
he can
those
play like
two
a
tight
receiver.
ends,
Yeah,
last year he's more of a receiver, right? Last year, Andrews got 11 touchdowns, led the league, and Isaiah Likely had 6. Most of the other really strong tight ends, like Kittle, had 8. I mean, you look at these guys. I mean, having 6 touchdowns when your starter got 11. It says to me that Lamar relies on these guys, and especially likely toward the end of the year when he's getting, 2 touchdowns a game at points. So,
and Andrews is getting older, and he tends to be hurt a lot.
And I thought they're still over that dropping the ball in the end zone.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's just. It's something. I feel like there's some 4-week injury he's got every year, so it just gives Isaiah Likely the opportunity to get a few more touches. I really do like that pick right there.
And the guy that I think is the ultimate sleeper, at least based on what I'm reading on the draft picks, that they don't even talk about him, is Tyler Warren. How is he not?
I don't know where you're reading. I don't know where you're reading and what rankings, because everything I've seen is that's the guy. If you can get him, that's the guy.
Maybe I just when I'm looking at him, because of course we've got Penn State fans in the building. Somebody behind the camera right now is Penn State fan. So we heard about Tyler Warren, and Tyler's grandmother plays pickleball here at the field house.
She does.
We hear about Tyler all the time. But he's like Brock Bowers. He could very well be that sort of guy that those are the 2 guys in the future. If they stay healthy, those are the guys that we're watching.
I think if you're reading wherever you're reading it that he's lower down, I think it's got to do with one thing and one thing only. He doesn't have a quarterback.
Yep.
You've got Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, who we've said all along. I think we're all in pretty much agreement. Anthony Richardson was a bust from the get-go. He shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick. He didn't do much in college football. He had the 1 year at Florida, and it wasn't even that great of a year. So I think if Tyler Warren is low on the chart, it's because he doesn't have a quarterback.
I totally agree with you, but in a way, I think that can almost help a tight end. It certainly helped Brock Bowers last year. Nobody wanted to draft Brock Bowers early. His average draft position last year is about the 10th round in most drafts. Mm-hmm. They thought he didn't have a quarterback last year, and they really didn't. But when you don't have a quarterback, they like to dump off quickly to tight ends that they can trust.
So they're scared for their life.
Tyler Warren could be that.
I respect that you're right there, but I don't like either quarterback there.
Good for you. I'd say the same about Brock Bowers too, because overrated, in my opinion, is Geno. So we'll see what he does. I mean, yeah, he didn't appear to be overrated.
You're jumping into your overrated quarterback pick already, huh?
Is that where we're going now? Overrated quarterbacks? All right.
Well, let's do it. Let's go.
All right.
I didn't go. Well, I can give you my overrated if you want to do positionally. But the easy one, it's funny that you guys are talking about Anthony Richardson. Easy one. Way overrated. I don't know how this guy, honestly, I don't know how he ever rose on the draft board like he did. We were all kind of miffed at that point. And then the fact that he's either hurt or he's taking plays off, like they say, or doing whatever he's doing, he doesn't seem to be a guy that really wants that job or is very good at it. So it's a curious thing to me, but I think that's going to hurt. I mean, they've got Daniel Jones, who's serviceable. He did well, relatively speaking, with the Giants. And they've also got Riley Leonard. Riley was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's got a good
played well.
backstory.
He can run a little bit. So,
and they've also got Jason Bean, who that's why I was watching that video on Bean from 2 years ago when he was drafted out of Kansas. Guy's pretty good, and he's been on the roster now for a year. So I kind of like they've got some options. And my gut tells me that we won't be talking about Anthony Richardson much longer. That's my hunch.
Scotty, what's yours? Score.
Well, this is gonna irk a lot of people out there. My overrated player is a top 5 player in this draft, and I think he's actually the best player at his position. That's Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
I think he's actually a better receiver than Jamar Chase. If you put Justin Jefferson in Jamar Chase's position, he would go bananas. But I think he's too much of a risk to take early with J.J. McCarthy as the quarterback. We don't know anything about him. I wouldn't risk a top pick on Justin Jefferson with an unproven quarterback. I know the hype is there for J.J., but I just wouldn't risk it for Jefferson that early. So I'd be cautious taking Jefferson with an early pick. I know I've heard it before that Justin Jefferson's quarterback proof, but I guess we'll see.
I know we've talked about this. I'm with you. There's a lot of uncertainty around that. But I guess we could also say that last year with Sam Darnold and being there. And I don't think anybody expected him to put up the numbers he did with Justin Jefferson. I got 2 overrated players. One, and it kind of goes along with the reason over in Indy, is Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to be bad. I think early on they'll start to feed him the ball a little bit, but I think they're going to be in games where they're behind because of turnovers and whatnot. And I don't think he's going to put up the yards. And I think he's at worst 2nd, maybe 3rd round pick. And I think that's still a little too high for him, just because of the situation where they don't know who the quarterback is. And I don't think any of the options are very good. And my other one is Garrett Wilson. He's had a couple 1,000-yard seasons, but they say the same thing with Justin. You quarterback proof, but I don't think Justin Fields throws the ball very well. He's a guy that's mostly run first. He hasn't thrown over for 3,800 yards.
Yeah.
So, and the Jets. Again, it might be a Patriots fan. The Jets are the Jets. They're not very good.
Okay, now to quote my favorite Chris Carter. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Both of you guys, what's the matter with you? Justin Jefferson, I hope you're watching right now, Justin. Give me a call. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure.
This guy's lost his mind. You're the best receiver in the league, period. And if you're J.J. McCarthy, I know if it's me, I'm going to try to hope that guy makes me look good.
2nd best receiver in the game.
I mean, you would say Jamar Chase is number 1, right?
Yes.
But it's debatable. It's a good debate.
It is debatable, but
either way, I think he still is, and you can have any professional quarterback is going to know that and is going to rely on that guy. Fantasy-wise, I think he goes ham. And then, who did you say?
Garrett Wilson and Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, first of all, if the quarterback is terrible, we need that running game. So
I said early on, they'll hand him the ball, but it's not going to be the numbers that people are expecting from him. He's been 1st, 2nd round pick the last couple of years. Am I wrong? There's some injuries issues. He's been a workhorse. He's been used a whole bunch, and if they're going to be down points, they're not going to be able to run it. They got to sling it, and then those guys start turning the ball over. There's less opportunities.
But then you say Garrett Wilson.
Nice.
I would take that guy all day, every day. Yeah. Especially with Justin Fields, I think they're going to be better. Are the Jets good? Who knows? But I mean, Garrett Wilson, we know is good.
So Garrett Wilson had a good year. You didn't expect him to have a good year because you didn't think Aaron Rodgers was any good.
I still don't.
All right.
I think Aaron Rodgers. Sorry for watching, Aaron. Don't call me. But Aaron Rodgers, I feel like he wasn't going to be that guy who's going to play to the strengths of a guy like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson will stretch the field. And I just don't think it's kind of like the way I feel about the Steelers now. Yeah, maybe Freiermuth's going to have a great year because
I think the Steelers are going to have a really good year. I know they play in the division with the Bengals and the Ravens, and the Ravens are probably one of the top 3 teams in football. But I think it's a good fit for Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. They are a run-heavy offense, and Aaron Rodgers is at his best when he's been able to bootleg off the run and play action off the run. And he's got a big target in DK Metcalf and Freiermuth, and they've got some runners in Warren, and they picked up another running back. I'm blanking on his name. I think they're going to be good. And Aaron Rodgers was better last year than people gave him credit for. He put up some better numbers than bigger names than you think.
He did. His numbers are better than you think. I want to step back, and I think that's a good pick. My concern with the Steelers is their age. How old is DK Metcalf? I don't know the answer to that question.
30? I don't think he's much older than 30.
Okay.
Maybe 31.
I didn't know if he was over 30 or not.
I think he's right there in that 29 to 31 range. He's still young. And I mean, look at that guy. That guy takes pretty good care of himself. He's a freak.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying, I mean, I guess if it was a 5-year ago conversation we're having, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers' grandkids are there cheering him on. It's going to be cool because it's nice.
You got to have kids to have grandkids.
Yeah.
You got to have kids to have grandkids.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, let's just hope he has a healthy season. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we wish nothing but health for Aaron. Okay, now we've talked about the ultimate overrated player. If there's one that you were going to identify, doesn't matter the position, who would that guy be? Scott, do you have one in the league that you think is just completely overrated? You want me to go first?
No, you don't have to go first. Completely overrated anybody in the league? That's a good question, Mark. I'm going to go this year with Devonta Smith from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Wow.
Why? What's your reasoning there?
My reasoning is I think he's a good receiver out of Alabama, had an amazing college career, and he's had a pretty good pro career too. But I think that the Eagles are going to be a little down this year.
You think they don't win the division? You think they have a
I think they
step
might
back?
win the division. I just think they got pretty lucky last year, staying injury-free for the most part.
It's true. It's tough to do in the NFL.
It's tough to do in the NFL. He stretches the field for them, and I give him that. But I just don't see him having an amazing year this year. He's ranked fairly high as receivers go. I think Brown will have a good year this year. I'll question that Saquon will have the same type of year either. But I would say Devonta Smith this year, I think, is rated a little high.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Eagles. Devonta Smith, though, he proves us wrong. It seems like when he came out of Alabama, he was so good.
It seems like it because they said he was too small.
Well,
he's
look
always
at the guy.
doubted. Yeah,
He's tiny, and you would think that he's either going to get killed, but he's just a terrific player. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you could be right.
Mark's not going to like mine because it's one of his boys.
Oh no,
Tyreek Hill. I think the cheetah is running out of time.
He did not. He was what, the 32nd ranked wide receiver.
Yeah,
last year.
I think his time is up. He's got some off-field drama that he's always dealing with. His speed is the big factor in his game. I'm not saying I don't think he's the greatest route runner. He's kind of gotten away with his speed. That's kind of dwindling down as he's getting older. Who knows what's going to be the quarterback there? Tua is one concussion away from his career being over, and even then, he hasn't been great. Maybe Quinn Ewers comes in behind him and does something, but I think Tyreek Hill is overrated. I think you avoid him at all costs.
don't listen to Zack.
You've said that a lot today.
I know. You guys, again, Tyreek is going to have a big year. Tua is going to have a big year. Yeah, I think they're all one concussion away from being done. So I think that I'm not a big Dolphins fan, but I like the pieces that the Dolphins have. I mean, with Achane as a running back, they got Waddles. If he's healthy,
How's their offensive line?
Hopefully they built it up.
Ask
in the
Tua
draft.
about that.
That's how come I'm wondering.
Ask Tua about it. It's
Tua
not great.
Can't play scared. He doesn't seem to ever play scared. I'll give him credit for that. But if he's going to need time, I think, to get the ball to Tyreek Hill because of what Zack just said is. I don't think Hill's a great route runner, so he needs a few seconds of time to get to use his speed to get to space.
And that's the other thing. He's getting older, so that speed he's probably lost a step or two.
Mm-hmm.
So that speed is coming down. He's not one of the fastest guys in the NFL anymore. He'd tell you otherwise, but I just think I'm not a big believer on the Dolphins as much as you are.
Yeah, I like them. I like what they faltered at the end of last year, but I think that they're.
Who's your most overrated player?
It's an easy one for me. The most overrated player in the NFL, Travis Kelce.
That's a good one.
Unbelievable.
That's
You
a
leave
good
Tay-Tay's
one.
boyfriend out of that.
Yeah, you know
you
what?
keep Tay-Tay's boyfriend out of your mouth.
Taylor Swift seems like a very nice young lady, and but enough already of this whole. Travis is older relative to football players, and he faltered a little bit last year. I think he only had 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, something like that, where he's coming off a huge year. And then it was, is he going to retire? Is he not? He's coming back, and he's all excited about coming back. something's telling me that we're not going to see a lot of production out of that guy compared to how he's been in the past.
I actually think the opposite. I think he goes out with one last big bang, and I think he has a pretty good year. I'm calling double-digit touchdowns this year for Travis Kelce. I think he has 10.
What's the answer? So there's.
I'm gonna go in between that. I think he's gonna have an average year this year, but just on the, I would go with you, Mark. I would lean towards you, but Mahomes is too good, and Kelsey's his target. And
It's
I
a
think that
safety
he's gonna get some. But more importantly, this is just a yes or no question. I don't want any explanations. Did you watch the Taylor Swift Kelsey podcast?
No.
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
Did you?
A couple minutes.
That was not a yes or no.
Because all the ladies in my house had it on, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It actually was pretty good. It was pretty good.
My wife said it was good. She didn't care about football. But anyway.
Is there any other guys that you think are overrated? Because there's another guy that I think is overrated.
I don't think I have much more, but give me that last one because we
I was debating.
gotta move over to college football. We got a little bit of time. We gotta get some college football in.
So my last guy that I was debating, if it was going to be Travis Kelce or our most overrated this year, for me, Sam Darnold. I mean, first of all, I can't believe how well he did with the Vikings last year.
We
It
mentioned
was
that a little
incredible
earlier.
up until the very end. And then he goes, I think, though I have a funny feeling that even though Milroe didn't look great in college, he was a very strong college player because he can run and he was big and strong. And I have a funny feeling that they want Milroe to be their quarterback.
It'd be tough to make that move after they just paid Darnold so much money. But I don't think they did him a good service. I think they got rid of Metcalf. They still have Lockett, but he's been kind of a down year. Really, he's got Smith and Jigba. And again, that's a pretty good target because those Ohio State receivers are pretty solid. It's like wide receiver U there.
Yeah.
I just don't think they did him a really great service and giving him weapons. They kind of took a couple away from him. So I'm nervous about that. But I do think Sam Darnold is a little bit overrated with the amount of money he got paid based off from 1 year, but I don't think they're going to go to Milroe that quick with the amount of money they paid him.
Makes sense.
Yeah, who's the other receiver that they have? Because I was just looking up. There's another guy that they
Tyler
have.
Lockett, Smith and Jigba, and then
They don't have Lockett anymore.
did he retire?
No, I think he got traded. I think he's with Tennessee.
Yeah, he did get traded.
Oh, they did trade him. So
Yeah.
So really, that makes it even more. So they have Smith and Jigba, and then who are their wide receivers?
Here, let's see, because they picked up another guy, and people watching this are probably going, "Come on, guys, you should know this."
Yeah.
And we probably should.
Sorry, they're a West Coast team. They don't play.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, they went and got Cooper. But
yeah.
talk about aging and injury prone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still Cooper Kupp. I'll tell you what, if the Commanders were going after him, I'd be thrilled to get a guy like Cooper Kupp. So
Yeah. Well, hey guys, you've heard our picks. They're probably wrong. If you have your own picks, drop them in the comments or tell us how wrong we are or why we're wrong.
Yep. And now we're going to switch it over to college football a little bit. We've got a couple things we want to talk about quick with college football. First off, we're going to go. I know Mark likes to call it your national champion pick. It's tough to pick that. I'd like to say our pick that we think is going to get into playoffs. And once you get into playoffs, as we saw last year, anybody can win it. So I got a pick that I would say is playoff bound, but there are some what ifs in there. But I'd like to hear if you guys, not necessarily a national champion pick, but somebody you think is going to do really well and have a chance to compete for that national championship.
fair enough.
You started off.
Oh, you want me to start
You
off?
start off, Marcus.
This one was, you look at all those teams in preseason rankings. It's hard to tell, really, as we all every year you're trying to figure all that stuff out. But there's a few teams in there that I think are still going to be exceptionally strong, rankings or not. My team to win or at least be in the top four this year.
Yep, top hunt
Top
for it.
four would be LSU.
Okay.
But I could also easily go with Clemson, which is why I'm taking one of those two teams, thinking that they've got the two best quarterbacks in the league, I think, right now. And they play each other on August 30th. So I'm going to say whoever wins that game is in Final Four in college football.
Fair enough. That's a couple top 10 teams there, right?
Yeah, I think LSU's 9 and Clemson's 4 or 5.
People love Clemson this year. They have a good quarterback and they're returning so many players. They don't really use the portal, so they
have a great coach.
Yeah,
I mean, they just have a great culture there. So.
Yeah, I think they probably have the easiest path of any team. Just coming through the ACC versus an SEC or a Big Ten team. I think it's just a little bit easier. And I'm a big ACC guy because my true love football school is not Georgia. Their number 2 is Virginia Tech. But as an ACC guy, I think they have a pretty easy road.
Scotty, who do you think is going to be a team that is in the hunt come December and January for that national championship?
I like Ole Miss this year.
Okay.
I think they're ranked about, I was trying to pull up what they're ranked 21st. They made a move last year. They were good, especially at the beginning of the season. They were undefeated, I think, through 7 games last year. They got a coach that's well liked by the players on the team. A lot of people don't like him, but they have a tough schedule. Everybody in the SEC does. But I think they'll do well this year. I think they're returning a lot of people.
I know that losing Jackson Dart hurts, but if they can backfill, Lane Kiffin's a good recruiter and a good offensive coach. So I'm sure he went and got himself a dude that can compete and everything like that. That's a good pick, but like everything, the SEC is a tough challenge, and it's the schedule. I'm going in the SEC as well, and I know we've talked about this a little bit. I'm going South Carolina. Last year they finished regular season 6-game win streak. They beat Clemson. I think they have a stretch of schedule. They play your beloved Virginia Tech to open the season, so that's a big game. But they have a 5-week stretch that'll be the big difference. If they go 3-2 or 4-1 in that 5-game stretch, I think it says enough about them. They play LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, A&M, with the last 2 games being on the road and 2 very tough places to play in Ole Miss and A&M. But if they come out of that 3-2, 4-1, I think they're tested and they're ready for the playoff run, and they've got a chance. And their quarterback, I think, is a top 3, maybe top 4 Heisman candidate.
Agreed. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's fun to watch play, man.
Yep, he can play. So South Carolina, I think, has a chance. It'll be fun to watch.
Love them. But the reason that I wouldn't have taken them is because of the end of their schedule. It's going to be
it's a gauntlet.
You got to go Ole Miss, Alabama, and Clemson.
LSU. They finished with Clemson his last game of the year, so they have them again. So that's 6 games they're playing. The 5-game stretch is all versus top 15 teams as of preseason. So it is, like I said, it's a gauntlet. But if they can get out of there. With the new playoff format, you can get in with 2 losses. So if they go 3-2 there, and it might be the only 2 losses they have playing in the SEC, it gives them a shot to get in the playoff. And like we saw, Ohio State was the 8th seed last year and won it all. So you just got to get in. And if you get in, you've got a chance.
Yep, agreed. Okay, let's move on to our watch out team, because we all were talking earlier how there's always a team in college football that it's hard to tell early on, but then like Indiana last year, that you say, watch out for this team. We'll lead it off, Zach. What's your watch out team?
So my sleeper watch out team, I'd call them my group of 5 team that I think is this year's Boise State. I'm going with Fresno State. They've got a son of an NFL quarterback that's won a Super Bowl in E.J. Warren. He's bounced around some smaller schools in Temple and Rice. He's done very well at those schools, set some records passing. He's thrown for 9,000 yards in his college career, so he's got some veteran leadership there. And they've got a new coach that won 2 FCS championships at North Dakota State. I think it's an opportunity for them. Their schedule doesn't seem too crazy. They've got a Kansas and an Oregon State on there. They've obviously got some of those smaller schools in conference. But I think Fresno State is my Boise State of 2025.
I like that pick. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to dig deep for this one. I'm going to stay in the group of 5 as well, because I'm going to make a long shot pick here. I'm going to go with Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, baby.
Right.
I know everybody out there, the Raging Cajuns. They started the season great last year. They had a good run. They got smoked in their bowl game, but from what I hear, they're bringing a lot of people back. Their schedule suits really well for them to win a lot of games this year. I think if they can run through their, I think they're in the Sun Belt. If they can run through that conference and do well, I expect them to be the FCS bid this year. So go Raging Cajuns.
All right. Marcus, what do you got?
And this is, for me, this is kind of, you guys are going to just shake your heads, but I'm going to tell you who I think I'd watch out for if I'm any team, especially SEC, that's got to play Alabama this year. It's hard for me to picture in the last, I don't know how many years, Alabama's been so good. And to see them ranked as number 8 going into the preseason poll, and having a season like they had last year, which was on the edge of not being very good. It turned out to be okay. But My pick, if I am any SEC team, I do not want to play Alabama this year. Even though they've got a new quarterback, they've got this guy we've never heard of.
Is that a sleeper pick?
Yeah, I was gonna
When's
say.
the last time someone in the SEC wanted to
Look
play
at number
Alabama?
You picked the number 8 team in the country as your sleeper pick.
No, I said the watch out pick.
Okay, watch out.
All right.
So they're not a sleeper, but they're definitely a watch out pick.
fair
I
enough.
feel like they're,
I think the name just scares people anyways. I think people watch out for them like Scott
And they're
said.
loaded with
Everyone-
talent.
Okay, now my true sleeper, of course, I think the University of Kentucky. I'm pretty sure they're ranked really high.
Are they still playing in the SEC? you got that's a homer pick right there. I don't know if Kentucky wins 5 games this year.
Oh, well, we'll have to watch that. We'll have more time to talk about that as
Yeah.
the year goes by. Them.
So the last one we wanted to talk about in terms of college football is somebody that's ranked that we don't think should be.
I know you got one.
I got one.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about. We talked about it with our friend Donnie, who's been a guest here, who's a football junkie. I think he's got a few personal reasons why he doesn't like this pick, or why he likes this. But I'm going with Indiana. They didn't play anybody last year. I think they were 11-1, 12-1. But their regular season, I think they played one ranked team, and it was Ohio State. And they lost it. Then they played Notre Dame in the playoff, and it wasn't much of a game. I know it ended up being a 10-point game. It was like 27-17, something like that. But it wasn't really competitive. I just don't think they've got a chance. They've got a tough little stretch of their schedule. They've got Illinois, they're at Oregon, they're at Penn State, and at Iowa. That's a tough little 3-game stretch on the road where it's not easy to win there. So I just don't think Indiana is a team that should be ranked, and I think they finish outside the top 25 and maybe middle of the pack in the Big Ten.
Scotty?
I'm trying to choose between Michigan and SMU. My main reason for choosing Michigan would be just I just don't like them, and I think they're always overrated. I think they're probably the worst national champion in the last 10 years, but I won't pick them.
Ouch.
Those 2 teams, and that wasn't what we were talking about
Was
before.
that-
You had somebody else.
Yeah, but my pick is I've been sitting here thinking while we're talking, and that's allowed, right? I don't think much.
I thought I saw smoke coming out those years.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with SMU. Frankly, I don't know that much about them this year, and I think they played well last year and overachieved a little bit for their first year in the ACC. But I just can't see them doing that again. And I'm not basing on any information. I'm just basing on what I think for the school and the team themselves. I see that they're ranked 15th to start the season. I just can't see them performing as well as they did last year. So that's my thought.
I was really looking forward to you saying Miami. I know we talked about it, and you were.
I wanted to because
Carson
they
Beck,
have an
man.
easy schedule. Because Carson Beck. I don't know if he's an improvement over Ward, but them being ranked 10th to start,
I think that's really high for.
that's pretty darn high.
So Marcus, we're on to you. Let's wrap it up. We're gonna finish this off. We need to know who's your bust team.
Indiana, like you. I mean, when you look at their roster last year, it was glaring that they have the JMU, James Madison University, for those of you who aren't local to us, but we're a couple of hours out of JMU, and they've got their coach, they've got a lot of their players. It shows you how good JMU was, and I think, but to compete at that level again, bowl game, I think Indiana also got beat up pretty bad.
No, they lost to Notre Dame in the playoff.
That's right. The
Yeah.
playoff. Yeah,
So-
bowl game playoff. I mean, so I'm going to say, I'm with you there. The team that I'm actually thinking also, like Scotty, that I've been bouncing around on that I think is going to have a tough year, personally, is Tennessee. I liked him last year, and Nico, I thought he's a dynamic player. Now he's UCLA?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who they've got really coming back that is, I mean, the receiving core and everybody. I don't follow Tennessee football much, but something's telling me that they're ranked very low in the preseason poll. I think they're at 24. So I think they're going to struggle.
I'll be at the Tennessee-Kentucky game in Lexington this year, so we'll be able to eyeball that.
Yeah, that'd be
Tennessee
fun.
wins that game, no problem. They win it by 3 touchdowns.
Whoa!
Kentucky may surprise you.
At home, Kentucky plays well against teams. They might not always win, but they keep it close for a while. But
Well, you say that, and I was so excited about that Alabama-Kentucky game last year. My son and I were going to go.
Yeah, that was
and
different.
then it turned out to be, because when they give you the game, they say the time is to be determined. I'm thinking, I know with my luck in November, it's going to be like an 8 o'clock start. Sure enough, it was. and Alabama's up 3 touchdowns
After
in the
the
first
first.
quarter. Milroe ran them all in, by the way. So it's like this is going to be just a bad day, bad night for Kentucky. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Those are our Football Friday picks for fantasy and some college stuff. Be sure to tune in every Friday. We'll be coming at you with our picks for the week. And like we said, you can fade them or you can follow them, but we'll be giving you our opinions on it.
Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.